Hey guys, it's Mosif, and this is going to be the second video of my pro positioning series, named Not Final. Today we will be looking at Inferno Balcony. And Balcony is a good spot to play both early round and late round by your A-site anchor. The goal of the Balcony player depends on the stage of the round, so while later round the Balcony player is going to be going for frags, early round it's going to be more of a supportive role for players playing in the brackets area and specifically playing in the lane area. And one of the ways that the Balcony player can support the brackets players is they can come into apps here, they can throw a deep molly, they can throw a deep smoke, they can jiggle peek. We're going to see Stilla do all three actually. And what this does is it stops the T push from here. It slows it down a little bit, and it allows the bracket players to stay pretty far advanced later on into the round, right? Normally I think it's like 140-ish. Things start to get a little unsafe, so it gives you a little bit more time to play aggro to get the early pick. And if you have a lane player, you can hear any T jumping into windows, so you'll know when Boilers is no longer safe. So this is one way that you support your bracket players, allow them to stick around in brackets longer by getting some early info in apartments. The Balcony player is also very useful early round, even if they're not doing this early information play, right? Because T's can get up here pretty silently, right, without you even knowing. Holding the apps explode play from Balcony is actually pretty powerful, right? So with an apps explode, a T's gonna come out here and he's gonna probably strafe out like this, correct? So if you think about it from the perspective of the Balcony player, this person is jumping out and strafing around the corner here, and he's hanging in the air directly where you're aiming, right? So this is a pretty powerful spot to stop an apps push. On top of that, because they're coming out and going left, they're not even looking at you. They're not going to be fighting you. So it's a pretty powerful spot. Another pretty good spot is down here, right? Looking up, same concept, right? This guy's strafing out. He's hanging in the air where you're aiming, but you do need to have a lane player with you to watch boiler push and mid push in that case. And then you also lose some of the nice things you can do on Balcony late round, and some of the supportive plays that they can do to help lane player fall back. To illustrate why it's better to hold the apartments explode play from Balcony and not from pit or graveyard, we're going to look at how Bolts tries to hold it from pit, right? And what happens is, as the debris comes out here, right, Bolts had to swing his crosshair just to even try to get a kill, try to stop him, right? And obviously he made it out, right? And now he has to readjust his crosshair back to the apartment, and in the time that he's done that, obviously he hasn't adjusted it very well because he's aiming at the bottom of the balcony. So here, as if he's just going to take off his head, right? So you don't have to worry about readjusting your crosshair constantly if you're holding from balc, right? The T's are streaming into your crosshair, whereas here there's too much like lateral movement that you have to account for. So once the lane player is falling back, the Balcony player is not really playing a supportive role anymore, and instead is looking to initiate contact. And they're going to initiate contact depending on the CT setup. So if you have a player on a site, maybe he's watching apps, so the Balc player is trying to initiate contact lane only. If there's no A-site player, maybe they're holding an angle where they can initiate both apps and lane at the same time. In this case, we have Oscar has bracket control, so Rops can comfortably just watch apps, right? There's no danger from lane. And it's up to the Balcony player's discretion how long they want to stay up here and fight and when they want to back off and fall to mini pit. But the one thing that's for certain is that once the arch trap is a possibility, you're going to see that the Balcony player is just going to fall off, and they're going to start watching the arch trap because it is T's wrapping arch have a much better angle on you here in Balcony. So here you see Oscar's falling back to site. He's going to be responsible for watching lane area, and Rops is watching the arch trap, right? So they have a pretty good setup here to take out any terrorist trying to take the A site. Retaining arch control, though, allows the CTs to keep playing on balcony, and this is a good spot to get an early pick on lane, and then you can fall back to mini pit. Basically an untradeable frag for the Ts. And then you just play a crossfire with the CT, the A-site CT, okay? And you're going to see that's exactly what happens in this situation. So Magix gets this early pick. And then playing the crossfire with Dupree, they basically just completely stop the team in the lane area, right? They can't progress past that. And then the rotating CTs just clean up the rest of their kills. So one thing to note is that generally when a player falls off a balcony, they don't go back up there. And the reason is primarily because it's just too dangerous, right? If there's a T really close up in apps, he's going to hear you jumping up on the haystack. You have to jump at least 3 times to get up there. It just makes it way too easy of a pick. It's way too dangerous to go back up there. But if you have a guy up there late round, there's some pretty aggressive and good info plays you can do in apps, right? So here we have DD setting up a flash for Captain Mo, right? So he's going to throw this flash. Captain Mo's going to peek in here. And he's going to get a lot of info, right? Apps is clear, right? So now they can, it's a good play. They can concentrate their focus elsewhere, right? They can focus on lane. They can focus on something else. In this case, the T's just turn around and go the other way, but it's still a good info play, right? It gives you the ability to not worry about basically one avenue of attack. If the CTs are gambling or they have a read that the T's are setting up for a B hit, then pushing through apps dry is not a bad play to make. It is a little bit risky, but if you have the read right, then you're going to get a lot of information. And you're probably not going to pay for that push. And the reason is, if it is a B hit, then the T-side lurker is not going to be playing up in this area because they're going to want to maintain vision of any sort of quick flank in mid, right? So you're not likely to run in to someone in apps, and if you're really good with your timing, you're even going to find the lurker and get the frag on him before they're even ready to take a fight. The last thing to note really is that the majority of the time you're just going to have a rifler up here, or on an anti-eco you can have a guy with a pistol, or if you have a mixed buy you can have a guy with an SMG. Like, it still works pretty well just because you're so close to the terrorists. You can easily get a kill and potentially even get an upgraded gun out of it. There are some special op setups you can have, but those aren't all that common, and they're pretty special, right? Like, it's not going to be the default CT setup, so I'm not going to show those. I'm just going to let Rops, he gets this is pretty cool, like 2K from him, and then a little bit of over-aggression in my opinion. He's going to play the video out. If you like the video, then give it a like, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more stuff like this. If you want to see another spot analyzed in this way, then leave it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to give that a go. Yeah, and if you want to follow me on Twitch or Twitter, those are in the description, and yeah, that's all I've got for you guys in this video. So until the next one, I will see you later.